Crying Suns. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Crying Suns is a tactical roguelite that puts you in the role of a space fleet commander as you explore a mysteriously fallen empire. In this story-rich experience inspired by Dune, what a pile of shite that was, and Foundation, each successful run will uncover the truth about the empire and yourself as well. Yes guys, we have another FTL wannabe. That's right. Is this the spiritual successor to FTL or just another kind of failed attempt at capturing what made that game so damn good? Well, first of all, there's not much to say in the options of this game. It's very bare bones. The graphics are all pixelated because obviously that's why I have a 2080, so I can see these graphics that kind of ran on a Voodoo 2 fucking 25-30 years ago. But hey, they look alright. It's cute. No, it's not. They're fucking wank. No, they're not. They're not wank. They're alright. It's pixely. It's just, oh god. Why? Just make them great. Make graphics great. Nick Mac, you can't see it. Anyway, basically, it's got a good story. I'll give it that. The story was quite, I mean, even though it's based on, Dune was awful. Come on. All those people in the comments, Dune was great. No, it was Muad'Dib Hatsa. What the f does that even mean? I mean, it was wank. Sting, what were you doing? You can't even sing live. Matt, just... Sorry about that, guys. Just tangents. Basically, you wake up, you're a clone of Admiral Idaho, somebody whose empire fell a long time ago, and you have to set out to find why your empire fell. Why did it fall? I mean, why did it fall? That is the big question. Why did your empire fall? Anyway, you get in a battleship at the beginning of the game to set out to do this, to find this out. And this is where it becomes like FTL, because you've got stations on your battleship, you've got weapons, you've got hull, and you've got squadrons. Now, FTL was a little bit different. You had shields, an engine room, weapon room, and things like that. And the big difference between this and FTL, and a one that I'm not bloody happy with, is FTL had, guys, you could move around your ship. It was Star Trek on a small scale. You had little slidey doors, and people ran from room to room, and they buffed the different rooms and that. I mean, your crew members do buff different rooms, but it's just like static. That's what you see on your left of your screen there. That's all you get. They just, yeah, I'll put another crew member in there, and he'll buff weapons or squadrons. You can upgrade your ship as you go through your journey. You can add more weapon bays, more squadron bays. You can make the hull better. You can give yourself more chance to get fuel. You can strengthen different areas of your ship. You can get more crew members. So there's a lot to do on your ship, a hell of a lot to do. And there's different types of ships that you can get depending on how far you get into the game. As you finish the game, as you finish the chapters of the game, you will unlock new ships, which offer different strategies as well, which I really like. For example, the second ship is a drone ship, suicide drone ship, and it's great fun. You just kind of use your drones as suicide. I'll come to that in a minute when you do the combat, but it plays totally different to the first ship, which isn't a drone suicide ship. So once you've picked your crew, and your crew have different abilities, there's spies, there's soldiers, scientists and that, and they all have different abilities and different perks, if you like, and you put them wherever you see fit on your ship. But the main role of the crew is when you go down to investigate things, when you do expeditions, which is what I'm going to talk about now. You see, it plays exactly like FTL in the sense of you have a galaxy map with different paths to the end of that map where you'll have a boss fight, and you've got to choose the best way across that map. Pretty blind, to be honest, but you can see certain things like these yellow markers, which are anomalies. Now they'll either be great or bad, which in gaming terms means 70% of the time it's fucking bad, but you will get some really good ones as well, as I've had when I've played through the game. You can get a lot of scrap, which is your main source of currency. But anyway, as I was going to say, I was going to talk about expeditions, because when you go through the map, at each point that you land, there will be a certain number of events there. It tells you how many events is there before you go with the little number. And some of these events require an away team, like Star Trek kind of things. And that's why you have commandos. If you look at the top right, it shows you how many of them that you actually have. And your crew members bring along their little perks, if you like, their specialities, and it'll be that will give you a better chance of getting through an away expedition intact and getting a lot of resources from it. It will actually tell you that if you take this officer, you might lose, I don't know, anywhere between 3 and 8 commandos, but you might get about 70% of the loot. So you've got to decide which is the best option for you, and then you're on your own. It's just once you click go, they go, and you have zero control over it. It all just plays itself. And it's quite entertaining, to be honest, just watching it go through. You can pull them out at a certain point, but you will take casualties and lose loot if you do that. It is best seeing it through to the end unless you're taking severe losses. But it's a great way to earn loot at the end of the day, which is very important when you come to space stations to upgrade your ship, buy extra weaponry and things like that. Now, the weaponry in this game is great fun because it adds a lot of different tactical things to the actual gameplay. You see, when you enter a combat situation with another vessel, another ship, you'll be at the bottom, they'll be at the top, and there's a grid in between. And they will launch whatever they've got in their fighter base, and you launch whatever you've got. Now, this could be drones, it could be fighters, it could be cruisers, it could be frigates, and it is all rock, paper, scissors. Certain things are brilliant against other things and bad against other things. So you have to look at the tooltips when you mouse over to see you'll learn it obviously in the end. But initially you have to see what's good. Should I send me drones against fighters or frigates or cruisers and things like that? But with the different weapons you get, you can affect the battle on the battlefield as well as shoot the enemy ship with them. Certain weapons are designed to be fired at the ships on the battlefield, not the enemy battleship. For example, you can freeze them in place for a few seconds, which stops them firing, which is a great ploy to then send your ships in to absolutely annihilate them. You also have weapons that will just do out and out damage against the enemy ship, and you can choose to fire that at their hull, their weapons, or at their squadron launch base, and you will do damage to these things, which will cause them a delay in either firing or a delay in launching extra ships, extra fighters. And I really enjoy the combat in this because you have to look at what the enemy's launching, you have to launch stuff to counter that, you then have to decide, am I going to just try and avoid combat with their fighters on the battlefield and sneak around and just hammer his ship with my fighters or my drones or whatever. So there's a lot to kind of think about. Sometimes you can throw everything at the enemy ship in the hope that you're going to take it down, and then if you don't, you're kind of screwed while your ships respawn. They respawn in your bay, in your hangars, and you can relaunch them again, although they'll be pretty f***ed up if they got killed. So there's a lot that you can do in the battles, and you're constantly pausing to kind of assess the situation. Just hit the space bar and that'll pause it, and then you can make different tactical changes. And I like all that, I really do. The big problem this game has though, and it does have a big problem, is it's not better than FTL. Now this is still a good game, don't get me wrong, and it is worth a buy, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm having fun, and I'm going to keep playing it. But you need to understand a few things here. A lot of the events that you will find as you go through your journey are repeated too many times. There's not enough of them. I'm sick of running into some of the same people. I just kind of know exactly what's going to happen because I've done it. I kind of know which door to open because I've opened the wrong doors on a certain mission. I know that certain people who pretend to be good turn out to be bad, so I will not let them on my ship. It kind of sucks that there's not really that many of these things. And also, the worst thing about this game, the worst thing, is that when you reach the end of a chapter, you essentially lose everything and start again on the next chapter. Why can't I just continue with the ship that I had, with all the crew I had, with all the shit that I had, the upgrades and everything? Why can't I just maybe buy extra shit for that? I don't know why you can't do it, but you can't do it. Everything starts again, and it kind of sucks. I mean, you can get you get an offer of a new ship, a different type of ship, but what if you want to take the same ship you had? It's just like unimmersive because it's like worse than it was when you ended the last chapter. It's like, oh, I've lost that weapon, these buffs, and it just sucks, really. It just sucks. So yeah, that needed fixing as well. There's 3 difficulty levels on this. There's easy, medium and hard, and I found the game very challenging, very, very challenging. So you can adjust the difficulty level on the game. It's RNG hates me anyway, that's probably why. But it is worth a buy. It's got a good story. It's got some funny writing, and I really enjoy the battles, and I do want to unlock all the battleships and see how they all play differently. And it's something that's dead easy to play, but can be brutally hard if you pick the wrong choices or get a really bad dose of RNG.